Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies, inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh, thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. We were already talking about 2025, Joe. You're realizing summer's coming to a close. Football season's right around the corner. Next thing you know, it's pumpkin spice season. Next thing you know, people are coming over for Thanksgiving. It's Christmas. It's New Year's. And like, oh my goodness, it's 2025. Have I made the right business decisions? Get on it now. Contact our friends over at copiers-plus.com. Speaking of football, Joe, the AP Top 25 is out, and there's a lot of familiar faces on this. Hey, it's Georgia, number 1. Hey, it's Ohio State, number 2. Most of it looks very, very similar to the coaches poll. I did think it was interesting that the coaches have, I think, NC State a little bit higher than where the AP Top 25 has NC State. NC State's at 24. It does set up an AP Top 25 matchup for NC State and Tennessee in Charlotte in a couple of weeks. You also have some others receiving votes. Yeah, Louisville's in there. Virginia Tech's in there. Your boys. Smooth's in the house, baby. And, of course, our friends at App State. They received some votes as well. So it was nice to see the Mountaineers get a few votes. But ultimately, I look at that and I think to myself, yeah, sounds about right. But here's the key question. We asked this for the coaches' top 25. I think the AP Top 25 has like the legitimate stat that goes along with it. One of these teams, we talk about this with West Durham all the time. One of these teams in the top 10 is not going to finish the year in the top 10.
No, they're not going to finish the year ranked.
Which one is it?
Honestly, I think it might be Alabama.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's hard to be the guy who follows the guy.
But they got so much talent, dude.
And then on top of that, their whole team left.
Okay.
And then on top of that, like he came in and he's really good with quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Milroe is there. I honestly think they could really struggle this year. I think it could be an issue for them.
Okay.
Oregon's another one. I get why people are high on Oregon, and I think Dan Lanning is a really good coach, but they now have Dylan Gabriel as their quarterback, and he's 100 years old. I get it, but I think Bo Nix was a lot better last year than people really gave him credit for.
That's fair.
I also think their schedule is going to be significantly more difficult this year in the Big Ten with some of the games that they have. So I could see them also stepping back. Michigan's another one that, they lost a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I think their schedule is going to be more improved as well. So, I mean, those are the three that jump out at me. Of course, everyone's kind of wondering with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, is this it? Is it boom or bust? Is this it?
I don't think.
But their sched is set up for them to really have the success that all of their fans are hoping and dreaming for.
I feel like Ole Miss is the beneficiary of the thing we look at all the time in the ACC. Which team has a schedule that's conducive to success? And yes, Ole Miss gets that. They've got this window, but I just don't buy it because we've seen this all the time with the Mississippi teams, man. We see it all the time with the Mississippi teams. This is it. I don't know about that. We shall see about that. One thing I also noticed about the AP Top 25, unless I'm not reading this correctly, Colorado, anywhere on here? Did they receive any votes?
They got one vote. So somebody made them number 25.
Where'd that come from?
Somebody probably trying to help Deion out. I don't know. Highest rated group of 5 team is Boise State.
Yeah.
At 28? So
it's interesting. I brought up the Colorado thing because I think this is the official week where everything is turned on Deion. And I was wondering when this was going to happen. Yeah, it's talking season. They had Big 12 media days and Deion's doing his thing, but it was just kind of like, all right, it's talking season. People are just getting back in that mode. But I think the reason why it turned is that everybody has looked at the way Deion has handled local media coverage, not national media coverage, but local media coverage. He's just been nasty. And I don't know what it is. He's not outwardly saying what the real issue is. So I can't pretend to know really what's going on behind the scenes, but I can't imagine that local Colorado media that understands that Deion Sanders brings eyeballs is purposely going out of their way to be combative with Deion Sanders. It's just more along the lines of, dude, at the end of the day, you still got to produce on the football field, and there's some questions about that, and it's fair to wonder, given how things have gone with the transfer portal, whether that's going to translate in year 2. And Deion's acting as though the world's out to get him. Maybe that motivates the team. Maybe that's the grand scheme. Maybe that's the thing that he's playing 4D chess that I don't recognize. But it's been interesting to see the quick turn. And people will turn on you quick, man. And it's happened to Deion.
Yeah, I mean, he's been less than pleasant in these press conferences, like questioning like certain definitions of words and, saying, oh, what does that word even mean? And trying to use his own words. And there's a sense of entitlement with Deion. And I understand that when you're one of legitimately the 10 greatest football players of all time,
dude, he's one of one.
You're sitting there going, the world looks different to me.
Sure.
And I get that. And I think the way that the last year ended, it didn't humble him at all. I think they have the best skill group you can have in college football, but that's not necessarily where you win football games. And he learned that last year in the final year of the Pac-12. He'll be the Big 12, while does not have a hammer or a home run. I do think they have a bunch of really good teams, and the sledding is going to be difficult for Colorado this year, even with the skill talent that they have.
So Florida State shows up at number 10 in the AP Top 25, but they will always be number 1 in our hearts for legal news. This was something that came out on Friday, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it. I thought today would be a good day to at least go over it and clear up some misconceptions as to what's going on. And admittedly, this might be a byproduct of me spending way too much time on YouTube, seeing the SEO keywords for Florida State, ACC, and conference realignment. But Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports reported last week that the court-ordered mediation between Florida State and the ACC was taking place this week. Remember, Florida State and the ACC went in front of a judge. They explained their sides. The judge goes, y'all, you figure this out. I'm sending you to a mediator, which is different from arbitration.
Different.
Arbitration is something that we're used to talking about when it comes to mostly player contracts. To tie this to the Carolina Hurricanes, right? You had Marty Necas and Jack Drury pull the lever on electing for arbitration. Arbitration, you pull that lever because you're trying to expedite some agreement between you and the team. Now, arbitration could go poorly for you.
And there is an actual ruling, and both sides agree beforehand. We will adhere to the ruling.
Yes, because once the arbitrator decides, that's what you've both agreed to in private. This is what you have decided. We're going to go with that. There's no appeal or whatever. The arbitrator says this is what it is, and you go with it. Sometimes you go into arbitration, and how's it going to play out? The team tells the player, man, you really suck.
Hey, man, here's your comp.
Yeah. But the arbitrator can go, well, wait a minute. I'm looking at the comps, and I actually think he's worth this, and you got to deal with it. Mediation is different. Now, I don't pretend to be a lawyer, but I'm married to one.
Luckily, your wife is.
So last night, I asked Kelly, I'm like, okay, explain this like I'm 5. What exactly is going on between the ACC and Florida State? So I took notes as she explained this to me.
Good.
I took notes, and she was like, "Are you seriously taking notes?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to
get this wrong.
I don't want to get this wrong." So essentially, with mediation, it is a third-party, neutral, private conversation. Both sides will go in front of this mediator. They will explain what exactly they're trying to get at. I think we know the terms here. Florida State wants out of the ACC, and they don't want to pay anything. The ACC says there's this grant of rights that you've signed twice. And if you want to get out, well, it's clearly in the contract. This is what you have to pay.
I think our friend David McKenzie has this right too. Once you're in a contract and enjoy those rewards, it's not just the future compensation we're talking about. It's you've already enjoyed and cashed in on this agreement. So you owe us back pay. Yeah. I think it's part of the ACC's argument.
So then the mediator then says, all right, cool, appreciate it. And then they go into their separate rooms. The mediator then talks to Florida State. Hey, okay, give me some background. Then the mediator goes to the ACC. Hey, give me some background. And then they get back together, and the mediator can straight up say, yeah, y'all are in an impasse. There's really no way for you guys to resolve your issues, and it's probably going to go to court, which has, like we said, with arbitration, can lead to all sorts of ugliness coming out.
Yeah.
But the mediator could also say, all right, I understand where you're coming from. We understand where they're coming from. And this is something that I suggest you guys do. And both sides could work on that and then settle. Kelly was telling me that, at least in her line of work, about over 90% of situations that go in front of mediation end up settling. That both parties, it's a very high percentage. Criminal cases, apparently only 2% of them ever go to trial after they go in some sort of mediation, right? So there is at least the hope that both sides can come to some number, which is something we've been talking about for months, ever since Florida State decided they wanted out of the ACC and made it very, very public. that there is some sort of number they can agree on that helps everybody accomplish what exactly they want to accomplish. But I'll say this, Joe, based on everything that I've heard coming out of the ACC, they don't seem to be budging at all.
No, and they should feel strong about the legal argument they have and the structure that they have. I mean, we all agree Florida State is motivated to leave the ACC and wants to leave the ACC. The question is, what is the price?
Yeah.
And honestly, I hadn't even thought about what David McKenzie had said about, listen, your contract works both ways.
Yeah, the back pay thing.
It's like, you've also enjoyed this. You've already enjoyed this. So
right.
if you're saying the deal is so bad, well, then you got to pay back the money that you've already made on the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not advanced enough legally to understand those things either. So
neither am I. I mean, when Kelly was explaining this to me, I'm like, this sounds a lot like couples therapy.
Sure.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
What's it going to cost? What's the price? And that's always going to be the question for Florida State. Yes, you have your private equity money. You feel strong about that. You feel like that's the way that's going to work for you in the future. Awesome. But there's the price of the brick is only going to go up.
So if you take anything from this conversation, I want it to be this, especially with August 15th right around the corner. Because remember,
Thursday.
Why does August 15th matter?
That's when they have to alert the conference that they don't intend to be there for 25.
And it doesn't, I picked up on this while we were at ACC kickoff. There is nothing that will come out of Tallahassee this week to indicate that they're starting the process or announcing that they're leaving the ACC this week, especially with mediation. However, the main takeaway from this conversation is do not get duped. Do not get drawn in by the SEO keyword conversations around Florida State and the ACC and mediation. Nothing, and I wrote this down, the mediator has, and I underlined it, the mediator has zero power to make either side do anything. Zero power. It's all about just having this conversation, seeing where both sides are at, and seeing if they can come out to some sort of workable solution. I'm doubtful that they will come out to a workable solution. I'm confident that it will end up being declared an impasse and that this will ultimately go to trial, which of course starts another timeline that can drag on and on and on. So I just want that to be everybody's takeaway from this conversation between Florida State and the ACC. Don't get wrapped up in that SEO grift.
Housekeeping.
Brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online, ENOVANA.com. Green Cleaning Solutions.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
Yesterday, we launched OG Fans from OG Triangle Media. Shout out to everybody who has signed up for OG Fans. We had a robust sign up, a few on the Founders Club, which is great. We've had some questions like, well, what's part of the Founders Club? Well, at its minimum, you will get an exclusive hat that's different than the hats that you have access to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You weren't paying attention yesterday, I could tell.
Wow.
So it's a new hat, different hat than the one that you have access to currently. We will also be giving you a tote bag, a reusable tote bag. I've seen some people saying, I don't need another tote bag. But do you have an OG Triangle Media tote bag?
Different.
It's a different one. Plus, I'm sure we'll throw in some other goodies as well. It works out like this. $13 a month gives you access to a newsletter, which will have written content from Lauren Brownlow, from Joe Giglio, from Tom Edwards for the Carolina Hurricanes. He could probably better explain how Seth Jarvis still hasn't been signed yet. Can you explain to me cap space, please? Tom can do that sort of thing. And we will also have exclusive podcasts. We will have a 5th episode of this podcast. The 4 other podcasts are free. The other 4 we do during the week are free. That nothing changes there. But if you want a mailbag episode, you sign up for OG Fans. We're also bringing back ACC Panic Room. We've got OG on Business, and of course we have Law of the Wolf. And with the subscribers, and if we get more, again, we don't know how this is all going to play out. We don't have data on this kind of stuff yet. We are just doing this because we understand that's the next step, and we want to grow this. And the best way to do it is to find another revenue stream. This is the way to do it. And when we get that subscription in, we can then invest into some more stuff, like women's college basketball in the future, right? So all these things are taking place right now. It's all at ogtrianglemedia.com. Like I said, $13 a month is the basic. You can do OG Fans all year, where it's $143. You basically save on 1 month of OG Fans. There's the Founders Club, which is $200. That gets you the exclusive perks, along with discounted tickets to future events. And then, of course, there's the $7,000 lifetime subscription that also means we're going to take you to Disney World. So all that is there for OGTriangleMedia.com. And we got so many things going on. We got the podcast festival in less than 2 weeks.
Mhm.
That's brought to you by Breeze Through. Big thanks to them. Go to theRialto.com. Hayes has got a lot of stuff going on at the Rialto right now.
He really does.
So we will be there August 24th for week 0. Our friends Shutdown Fullcast will be there. Hand of the Dirt's going to be there. Home Field will be there with exclusive merch. That'll be a lot of fun. So check out homefieldapparel.com. With Home Field, use that promo code OG24 to save on your next purchase. Again, that promo code is OG24. I got the hoodies on the YouTube. They're all gorgeous. You can get one today. And you can also buy the exclusive Podcast Festival hoodie while we're at the Rialto later this month. But again, big thanks to Breeze Through for being the presenting sponsor for the OG Podcast Festival taking place August 24th. We cannot do that without them, so we appreciate them. So you all go support them. We're going to be out and about on Thursday, right, Joe?
Thursday, we're going to be over at Happy and Hill, Six Forks, Strickland. I was going to ask you, we're live at 2 or since it's a lunch crowd, we'll do our 1. What do you think?
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
I feel like what you're asking is
A meeting question.
Does feel like a meeting question.
We're suddenly
I
having a meeting.
apologize.
I think we just go at 2 o'clock
2. Okay.
because you might need a pick-me-up.
Yeah, it could be. They have Oak City Oats now. I had one of those the other day.
Get yourself a green smoothie.
Oh,
Some people eat lunch a little bit later too.
so good.
So yeah, we're gonna be at there. We're gonna be out there at 2 o'clock, 6
Okay.
o'clock for Happy and Hill. That's how we're gonna make that work. So again, we appreciate them for being a corporate champion. And also big thanks to Nature's Relief. I actually dropped by the Western Boulevard location yesterday because I needed my gummies, my sleep gummies.
Okay.
And there's a company that's local called Duderman Farms. And they had some CBD, CBN that I tried last night. I slept like a baby.
The new batch. The new.
It came in wonderfully. They also, and again, I was asking questions. I'm like, speaking of edibles, what else do you have? You want something that might be THCA or Delta 8. I'm like,
Psychoactive.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit more psychoactive. And they pointed me in the direction of these 25 milligram gummies. They remember your time.
25?
Yeah, they remember your time at, in fact, they said,
Do
"Don't
not give these to Joe.
Do not give this to Joe. Because I saw what 5 milligrams did to Joe. He does not, it's like,
Cannot handle it.
he's like, typically we tell you to break these in half. I don't even know if that's going to be something for Joe.
But you have a little bit more of a
A bucket to fill up.
constitution.
Yeah, a little bit more of a bucket to fill up. So again, big thanks to Nature's Relief. You can check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com. That's RELEAF hempstore.com. All right, I put it in there. It's in the StreamYard. Are you ready for the next lightning round?
Let's do it.
Topic, stack it up. Giglio's roll back it up. Well, I know what we'll do. A lightning round.
We got a lot of.
I am Roback.
You're row backing up. See, we do have a lot of topics, stacking up right now. Anson Dorrance pulled a Dean Smith ahead of the soccer season over at North Carolina. And folks, I feel like this is a segment within a segment. Not only are we doing lightning round, but I feel like this has turned into how can Joe Giglio turn this huge North Carolina Tar Heels related news? Let's understand who Anson Dorrance is. An absolute Tar Heel legend, an insane winning percentage. 21 national championships over 45 years at North Carolina. Just an absolute incredible career in Chapel Hill. And you all are wondering, oh no,
How's he going to do it?
how is Giglio going to pull this off? How is Giglio going to turn Anson Dorrance announcing his retirement in a very Anson Dorrance way? We just destroyed DC Power in an exhibition game, and I'm ready to walk off. How are you going to turn this into an NC State story?
It really is the year of the wolf, Joe. I promise you it is. I was pointing over my shoulder. That's George Tarantini. That's one of my mentors with Call Tutor. George was the men's soccer coach at NC State. So when I was at NC State, some people remember the first thing I covered was soccer, men's soccer specifically. And I knew nothing about soccer, but George taught me the way and then really became someone who helped me get to where I am today. I wouldn't be half of the person I was without Coach Tarantini. Just so happened there were some players on George's team that is my grade, class of 97. One was Greg Fry, who married one of the Biedenbachs. So Greg is obviously brother-in-law with Rod Brendamore, which becomes a tremendous source of our conversations when we talk, right? Well, Greg's best friend is Damon Nahas. So Damon Nahas was at NC State, played for George. Greg and Damon, great friends. They happen to be my friend as well while we were there. Fast forward, Damon becomes involved in youth soccer, and specifically on girls and the women's side. And he gets hired by North Carolina. Anson Dorrance has a way to kind of jumpstart his program, because it, as all of the success that he's had, it did plateau a little bit, and the other power programs in women's soccer caught up to him. Yeah, specifically Florida State. So you had Anson hire Damon, who is Wolf Blood, is NC State. Not only that, one of the great lines from I'll always remember from Dave Tellup, now with the Spurs. Back then he was a recruiting coordinator, right? And I talked to him. I said, tell me a little bit about Rodney Purvis. And he goes, well, Rodney Purvis and Julius Randle are real friends. You know how people are Facebook friends? He goes, no, they're real life friends. So in real life, in college, Damon and I were friends. Now we're probably more of what would you consider Facebook friends? Sure. But this is the equivalent of Anson Dorrance retiring and turning over his program to Damon Nahas. Really would be the equivalent of Roy Williams retiring and Trevor Ferguson being the head coach of the men's basketball team. I am being serious right now.
Not Julius Hodge.
So, no, Jules was the star. Damon was a really good player. Don't get me wrong.
I got you. I got you.
I don't think people quite understand what is happening here. And it's an interim tag. I get that. Interim, yeah. I suspect my friend Lawrence Cunningham has an idea that he'll do what he did with field hockey and find a young former player who will take over the program and try to ride out the dynasty. But can you imagine? I want you to think about how irate and mad Carolina fans would be if a State grad had replaced either Dean Smith or Roy Williams. This is what the equivalent is. Okay. So the fact that Wolf Blood is taking over one of the most proud programs and the most accomplished programs in all of college sports.
Easily, yeah.
A couple of years ago when they lost to UCLA in heartbreaking fashion, I was crushed. Like I was upset for Damon. Texted him yesterday. I said, go win the whole fucking thing, man. It is the year of the Wolf.
That would be funny.
Give him no choice but to give you that job.
To tie back something you said about where women's soccer was and where it is today, there are some similarities to what we talked about yesterday with the 92 Dream Team.
Very much so.
And elevating international basketball. Women's college basketball has probably been the more one-for-one in that people would talk about Gino Oriama's dominance, right? Where you saw what the Lady Volunteers were able to do with Pat Summitt. And where women's college basketball was 20, 25 years ago, where you had just a handful of teams that were just really running the whole thing, it forces other schools to go, well, we can't keep getting our ass kicked. We need to invest. Let's go. And then you see everything elevate from there. Anson Dorrance, same boat when it comes to soccer.
Yeah, the 99 World Cup obviously was a paradigm shift in women's soccer.
Yep.
Think about this. In 1979, 1980, that's when Anson started this, okay, with his first AIAW championship, okay? And the number of legends who played for him. Anson had this thing running so hot. Anson was truly a one of one as a coach. And I know some people are like, well, how hard is it to win in Carolina? How hard is it to win in a niche sport? Guys, it's 21 titles. This is not like a 4-year or a John Wooden 8-year run. We're talking decades here. And the way that his teams played, okay, uber aggressive. He pushed more people up. training tables and fitness. Like, he was so far ahead of the curve with all of this that he truly is not only a North Carolina and ACC legend, but an all-time college sports, the most accomplished coach in the history of college sports.
Let's get away from
that. You can only win a single title, and I know there's a track coach out there who's won like 9 million of them.
Sure.
You know, the truth of the matter is, his teams were fun, his teams were aggressive, and yeah, you might hate Carolina or you may hate all of those things, but you had no choice but to watch his teams and find joy in the way that they absolutely not only dominated opponents, but welcomed everyone's challenge in the way that they did.
21 NCAA titles will be the thing that people focus on. Focus on the overall record. 934 wins, 88 losses, 53 ties, but 88 losses
and
out of that.
Hat tip to Dave Losey, who his longtime captain of information.
Yeah.
Dave did such a great job of promoting and letting people understand what Anson and that program were really all about. I do have one Anson story. The one of the, I think it was the first time I ever saw State beat them, and it was over at SAS Soccer Park or whatever it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Wake Med now.
He was going on and on. You know, Anson loved talking to the media, like the Daily Tar Heel and all the different entities that actually covered them. He lived to have those conversations. The Durham Herald Sun back in the day when they would write about him, and he got to the point where they had lost the game and the team bus left without him. And so here I am. I think it was, man, I might have been 30. I might have been. It was a couple years ago because they were playing over at SAS. He's looking around. I go, well, do you need a ride home? And he's like, well, yeah, I can't get home. So that night I drove him home to Chapel Hill, and we talked and had some conversations and talked. I mean, he was a fascinating, polymath. Like, I'm talking, you're off the charts kind of guy. So congratulations to him. I enjoyed his statement, the homage to Dean Smith, saying, it's not at the end of the year when he would reevaluate, but at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And he said, I just can't do it. I don't have the same juice that I had.
Yeah.
And I do think it was in order to give Damon this chance. And like I said, I will be rooting for the Tar Heels this year.
We've got a lot to get to. It's a lightning round.
Nearly as ham-fisted as some of my other ones.
No, I saw the connection there. Speaking of connections, tying it back to Florida State, when we were talking about mediation, you brought up private equity, and we keep getting more and more news about private equity creep into sports. And by now, y'all know how I feel about this. It is not a good idea. I think people will ultimately...
Did you put it on the board yet?
What's that?
Nothing's for free?
Nothing's for free. I need to put that on the board thanks to our friend Jim Phillips, commissioner of the ACC. Now, this is from ProFootballTalk.com. The NFL is looking into finally agreeing on bringing in private equity to help with their valuations.
I'm sorry, did you just say the NFL?
The NFL, but here's the catch from Pro Football Talk via Sportico. NFL reportedly is considering a call option that would permit the league to buy back the equity if the owners decide to abandon the policy. The league has targeted Tuesday, August 27th, for a potential ownership meeting aimed at voting on private equity rules. The maximum private equity investment in any given team is expected to be 10%. Several weeks ago, Commissioner Roger Goodell did not rule out the possibility of that percentage increasing. Again, why is this happening? And I'm going to
That's a reverse mortgage in the NFL.
Yes.
That's what that is.
That's exactly what that is. So why is this happening? Well, in the NFL, I understand why it's happening. I understand why it's happening in professional sports. Because as the valuations of the teams continue to go up, the guys like Jerry Jones want their money. And this ties back to that theory you floated from Nick Wright yesterday about Jerry Jones potentially wanting to sell the Dallas Cowboys. Here's the problem. What do you think that if we know what the Carolina Panthers sold for in cash to David Tepper?
I think I saw the number at $9 billion for the Cowboys.
Who has $9 billion?
If you put those names back up there, Blackstone and whoever else.
Right. That's what that's about.
Yeah.
What the NFL has realized in their constant quest for higher valuations, and we've seen this in the NBA too, and why the television deal was really important, and maybe why Mark Cuban decided to get out when he got out, and why the Boston Celtics guy decided to get out when he got out. There's only so many people who have that kind of money on hand. You can put together ownership groups. Like, for instance, it seems to be that's what Tom Dundon with the Carolina Hurricanes is trying to do. Put together some sort of ownership group that can go and get a Major League Baseball team. But the last thing that's really on the table to help with these valuations is the endless amount of cash that seems to be around for private equity.
You should also probably point out that the person who paid that record price for the Panthers came from, essentially, hedge funds, private equity.
Taking advantage of those distressed assets.
Yes.
So that's where we're at. We're butting heads. We're butting up against the ceiling of who can afford these teams. So now you have to open yourself up, not just to private equity. This is the other thing that the NFL probably has been very, very reluctant to do. Outside foreign.
Those foreigners.
Those outside foreign investments.
Damn oil money.
Right.
That blood money.
So that gets us to college athletics. Our friend Wes Durham sent this to me and you.
Now, I understand a reverse mortgage in pro leagues. I do not understand
Totally get that.
what colleges think they're
No.
going to. Honestly, do you really think this is free?
No.
Someone's going to come in and give you just drop the bag on you and just be like, yeah, no, pay
No.
me back later.
So that
Or pay me back the same amount I gave you.
Wes Durham sent you and me this Substack post from a guy named Aaron Jeremy Miller. I have no idea who this guy is. None.
I'll never trust anyone with 3 names.
That's a good point.
Serial killers.
So it goes on this big thing about private equity and why it's college sports is this hot asset. And as I'm reading this, I'm thinking to myself, this dude doesn't know shit about college athletics. He just sees some brands and we got to get on this. And that's the problem. And that's the problem here. So he goes, that's where institutional capital comes in. PE firms specialize in 2 things: providing businesses with access to capital. Well, yes, thank you. This is the key line. Bringing operational improvements to those businesses. Buddy, let me explain something about college athletics. Nobody wants operational improvements. College athletics is one of the most ridiculously bloated group in all of sports. If they have an inefficient way to do something, they will find the inefficient way to do it.
Still the greatest South Park skit of all time, and the most on the head.
Yes.
Drop dead nail on the head.
Yes. Let's go to a committee,
Your
shall we?
Student athletes.
Nah, man, they're coming up with all sorts of Byzantine rules to make sure that they can hold on to what they're doing. I mean, for heaven's sake, how long did it take for college football to get to this 12-team playoff and all the negotiation that had to take place? But then this also really told me that this guy really doesn't know anything about college athletics. He says, we'd argue that college sports fans' experience has plenty of room for improvement. Think of all the ways that NCAA football and basketball experiences fall short when compared to the NFL and NBA. Bullet point: too many games are boring blowouts, where a team of Alabama or Duke future pros steamrolls some future accountants. Buddy, have you watched Duke basketball lately? Are you going to watch Alabama?
I wonder how many accountants are really
There's that too.
playing Division I.
Yeah, there's that
football
too.
and basketball.
Tickets for games in Cameron Indoor, Tiger Stadium,
Tiger, you mean Alabama?
or Auburn?
Auburn?
Which stadium are we talking
LSU?
about? Yeah, which one is it? Is it LSU?
Oh.
I don't know. Is it the old Tiger Stadium in Detroit? I'm confused here. Anyway, he continues. Tickets for games at Cameron Indoor, Tiger Stadium, and other college venues are obscenely hard to buy. They're not. And the in-stadium hospitality options are worse than the pro leagues. Based on what? Tell me you have not gone to modern college athletics without telling me. Have you? I'll even use an older example. Fawn Towers is showing a little bit of age at this point in time, but you can still go to the Dale Club and get a wonderful experience in the Dale Club. Go to the Blue Zone at Keenan. That is a wonderful hospitality experience. Cameron Indoor, they're using this as the example. 2 things about Cameron Indoor.
Ken took me to the Carolina Club before the soccer.
It's nice, right?
Real sweet.
It's real nice, right?
Yeah.
So college athletics has really upped the experience game because they know that's how they get boosters to give them more money. But let's use Cameron Indoor as the prime example here. Number 1, they have improved their game day experience. They have the Devil's Club and all that stuff where you can buy alcohol and hang out.
The only place you can buy alcohol.
It's the only place you can buy alcohol.
A little bit of a bonus there.
You're also kind of missing the point of going to Cameron Indoor Stadium. The whole point of going to Cameron Indoor Stadium is that you're in a tight environment right there behind the bench and everything else. But
he just used the wrong examples. Carolina and basketball would be a better example. They're leaving a lot of money on the table at the Smith Center, and they could really improve that.
That's something they've been talking about for a while now. But anyway, y'all know how I feel about this. We're getting more examples of why are you going to invite people who don't really understand college athletics into college athletics with a reverse mortgage, and they don't care about access to talking to John Shire.
Is Al Pacino still alive?
Yeah.
Just get him to do these commercials for them. The devil on the train about if you get off the train right now, you can get your wife who's having sex with the plumber or whatever it was. Where he plays the devil.
Yeah.
That's all I see.
The devil's advocate.
That's all I see. Keanu Reeves.
It's Keanu, right?
Yeah. That if I join OG fans, I will get the uncut versions of all of the extended cut versions of all of the lightning round songs.
I can work that out with Brian.
Okay.
We can give you
if you could burn that on a CD for me, like old school style.
No, that's not how it works. I'm going to give you a Walkman and a cassette. That's what I'll do.
Even better.
Got this from oddspr.com, Joe.
Uh-oh.
Close on this.
You found the one thing.
I've always been wondering what you won't bet on, because you'll bet on a lot of stupid shit.
Yes, I will.
So I got this from OddsPR, just a blast email. Little League ratings, wagering growing rapidly. Excuse me? So they gave me odds on the Little League. Matamoros from Mexico. They're minus 220 against Aruba.
Minus what?
Minus 220 against Aruba.
Damn, Aruba's down bad, huh?
United States bracket competition. Florida, Southeast, they're 5-2. Texas is 3-1. Pennsylvania is 4-1. South Dakota is 6-1. Chinese Taipei 3-2 plus 150.
Okay.
We got Santa Clara out of Cuba. They're 4-1 odds right now. And for the Little League World Champions, the U.S. team is minus 130 right now. You taking these odds, Joe? Or is that a bridge too far?
It's a bridge too far. I will bet on the East-West Shrine game. I will bet on the Pro Bowl. I will bet on a lot of things.
I'm not betting on this.
I bet on Olympic handball. I'm not betting on the league. I think it's disgusting that the Little League is on TV as it is.
Yeah.
Without them compensating the players.
I just hope that Dan Wetzel goes back to his bag of tricks and he releases another column that says it's time to pay the Little League World Series players, and people lose their shit.
He was absolutely right.
He's absolutely right. Big thanks to Hometown Realty for sponsoring Ovies and Giglio. Check them out, myhtr.com. I've been seeing a lot about home prices, a lot of new construction. You need somebody that's going to help guide you through all of the stuff that's out there for you, whether it's buying that home of your dreams in the right neighborhood, or you looking at some new construction and understanding how the builders have their incentives. Hometown Realty can help you out with that.
You know, it's one thing I really appreciate about Hometown Realty. I was out at an Italian restaurant in, I guess it was technically still Garner last week, and saw their in-house advertising in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, then you go to Clayton, you see where they are downtown. You've seen all of the different signs up around Garner and Clayton and 70. These people are part of this community. And what better way to get help to get into the community that you're trying to get into than through the experts? So go to myhtr.com. You could buy and sell in confidence all around all around this area. 6 locations, 250 agents from here to the coast, man. They got it on cover.
Say you buy that house, you sell that house, you need some representation. Contact Whitaker and Hamer, wh.lawyer. They're still looking for their return on investment for another traffic violation, and I have to contact them. We're not there yet, though. Also, big thanks to Rowback. Giglio's Rowbacking it up. Use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. They're going to be helping us out for the OG golf tournament. That's going to be really exciting. And with Rowback, they've got, look, I'm just going to say this. The shorts are consistently worn by my 16-year-old.
Okay.
That's
difficult to do.
That's saying something. He finds them incredibly comfortable and he consistently wears them. So that is a plus. And of course, big thanks to our friends over at State Farm, Matt Davis, InsureGarner.com, theoginsurance.com. Give them a call directly at 919-779-8200. 77. Very, very close to our Matt Davis 12 game of the week. Very excited about this. Might have to roll that into our DraftKings odds. That'll be a lot of fun. So again, give them a call directly at 919-779-8277. Hanging out with us in studio on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is Riley Dunn. JoeWagon. I've been drinking a lot of JoeWagon this summer, dude.
Hey, we love to hear it.
I think I've finally found the pace. It's all about finding your pace.
That's right.
So I will do a JoeWagon, whether it's the Fence Hopper, the Shandy, or the Magnifico, which is the orange one.
The Magnifico is definitely different, Riley. Come on.
Oh, for sure.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
No, it's the hipster one, no question.
So with what I've done though, what I figured out is I can have one can, and then the follow-up is I get the Sierra Nevada Hop Splash. 0 alcohol, 0 calorie, but you got that flavor of hops,
Yep.
right? It's, a beer alternative, just no alcohol though. You don't want to crossfade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe you want to crossfade, but when I'm at the pool, I don't want to crossfade. And it works out perfectly, man. Nice and paced. I love it.
I love that you love that. And coming into football season, hoping that more folks will learn the joy
Okay.
of grooving.
But I feel like today's not about JoeWagon, even though it is about JoeWagon. Today is about you two somehow, some way roping me back in
Yes.
to fantasy football.
Oh, are you going to participate?
Well, then why the fuck are we here?
We got him. He's back in. Back in.
You know my favorite phrase. We fucking are not. So if we're doing this, let's fucking do it.
Let's go.
Excellent.
So come on.
Okay.
Mission accomplished.
I love it. You want a team OG or you just want?
No, I'll do my
get your
own.
own.
So we're really doing fantasy football.
We are doing season-long fantasy football.
Okay.
That
This is for all
correct.
listeners.
This is for listeners.
The first 9 anyway.
Yeah, the first.
All right. So let's go through let's go through the rules here.
Well, first of all, we're going to be at the Tap Yard Wednesday, September 4th for a draft.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's for 7:00. So even if you don't get one of the 9 spots that are available,
Mhm.
come out, hang out, find out for yourself. Because yours is a Delta 8
That's
beverage.
right. Yeah.
Because things I've learned in the last year, sir.
Mhm.
Delta 9 hits me way different than Delta 8.
You are not alone.
There is video proof of what happens to me on the Delta 9. The Fence Hopper, though, I could drink 2 of those and just
Not melt into a chair like
And
you
not-
did at Nature's Relief.
and not absolutely become
Well,
useless.
what's your term for them? Chillers?
chillers?
I love
chiller.
My
that.
Fence Hopper is my chiller.
All right.
Magnifico is a little bit different now. I don't
Yeah.
know. You say there's no difference between the two, but they do have them at the Tap Yard.
They do.
So
They-
we'll be there Wednesday. It's a September
Yep.
4th,
Mhm.
Wednesday, 7:00, Tap Yard. Great space. Maybe we could play some bocce.
Okay.
I know you enjoy playing parlor games with me and watching me lose. It usually does involve me losing to like Rand or Victoria or somebody
Or
else, right?
Sebastian Aho.
Or Aho. Yeah, we need to bring Aho out for the bocce.
he plays bocce.
Well, he'll beat me in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
Although hopefully I'm not giving away too much here. This has not been solidified, but it's going to happen once the Canes preseason. They're all back. Because congratulations, Sebastian Aho. Him and Rosa got married over the summer.
Oh,
Tetris. I think you can finally beat him in Tetris. So I've got
Gotta get
this,
my reps going.
I've got the Sony Trinitron
Yeah.
from the 5th floor.
Oh, that's right.
And a Nintendo and a copy of Tetris. And I
go.
feel like that's a thing that you might be able to beat Sebastian Aho in. So that's something we're setting up before the
You
start of
got
the
out.
There's a
season.
lot going on here. There's a lot
But
going on.
let's get back to OG JoeWagon fantasy football, which we are officially calling the JoeWagon League.
JoeWagon League.
The JoeWagon League is going to take the draft is on September 4th at Tap Yard in Raleigh, 7:00. But this is not what I'm traditionally used to with fantasy football, where everybody gets into a conference room or a bar or whatever, and it's a snake draft. And I'm just going based off the Yahoo rankings because I'm lazy. This is an auction
Yes,
draft.
sir. We are doing this proper, and I will not stop evangelizing for auctions. If you take nothing from this, other than how cool it would be to hang out with this motley crew of gentlemen, if you take nothing else from this, auction is the way.
Okay.
I don't know. You know what? I'm feeling saucy. If you convert, anybody listening to this, if you successfully convert your league from snake to auction, I will gift you a free mix case of JoeWagon.
All right.
I believe that strongly that auction is the way. Because
why? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Before we get ahead of ourselves,
Yep.
I've never done an auction draft before.
Gotcha.
I have no concept of an auction draft.
Conservatively, that's like $125 value a case.
if you wanted to put a number on it,
Okay. I mean, it certainly saved me money compared to going to P Street when you do it by the case, but that's neither here nor there. So how does an auction draft work?
so you start out with a fixed budget of funny money,
Mhm.
usually $200. That's what we'll be doing.
Okay.
And instead of, okay, you've got 1.1, 1.2, I'm drafting in the 6th spot. There's none of that. Instead, everybody in the room takes turns nominating a player for auction. So say you wanted to nominate Christian McCaffrey first.
Mhm.
Everybody then starts bidding how much of their budget they want to spend on Christian McCaffrey. And the
okay.
reason that that's so powerful is if you are all in on a guy, say you think Breece Hall is going to have a monster year.
All right.
Ordinarily in a snake, if you're picking in that 10th, 11th, 12th spot, you have no prayer of getting Breece Hall, even though you are really super in on him. In an auction, it's just you and your fellow men and women. If somebody nominates him for $50, you go 51, you go 52, you go however high you need to until that guy is yours. It just gives you so much more freedom. It lets you have your convictions. It also means you're not pigeonholed in to picking. I remember last year, Giglio was like, man, I got the 1-1. I'm getting a little sick of Justin Jefferson. What do I do here?
Yeah.
There's none of that.
Okay.
If you feel like you don't really want to spend up for the top guys, you don't gotta.
I already know how to screw Giglio over because the first person I'm going to nominate is Tyreek Hill.
Hey.
Just watch me explode.
Oh,
Yeah, just watch Giglio just lose his shit because. But that's
my guy. This is
all 200.
You gotta get my guys. And this is the beauty of auction. If you are a get your guys type of dude, you can do that.
Well,
For
if
sure.
only.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
auctions generally are just super fun. If you charity auctions sometimes, my wife hates this.
Mhm.
I lose my mind.
Oh, charity. Dude, I'm with you on that. Back in the Brooks Elementary School Foundation,
Yes.
they would do like a spring whatever. And I would lose my mind walking around looking at all the auction items. I'm like, oh no, totally do that. Heck, when we did the NC State Legends Golf Tournament, we got X amount of tickets. I'm like, I really want
cooler.
that cooler.
We put all of them in.
It's not a shitty cooler, mind you, but I want that cooler. So I would use all the tickets on that.
All right. So if you want one of these 9 spots, text 919-306-8598. That's the King line. Or you can DM me on the Twitters, Giglio_OG. Again, we got 9 spots for the JoeWagon Fantasy League this year. Even if you don't get one of those 9 spots, you come Wednesday to Tap Yard, 7:00. We'll be there. Plenty of hoppers and magnificos will be available again at that great space. But also, Riley, you're offering up a sweet prize here for the winner of this particular league.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to win.
Okay.
I think I got a good chance. But one of the things we're going to do is if you take this league down, you get for an entire year until we run it back again, you get 2 cases of JoeWagon a month for the rest of the year.
Okay, now let's be clear. I can't win the prize. He can't win the prize.
Why couldn't you win the prize?
No. Because we're one of our 9 at-larges.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if you win, the highest at-large will still win? Or do you want it to be taken down?
No. Somebody's getting these cases.
Okay.
Somebody's
Somebody's getting these cases.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not getting it. Joe's not getting it.
Right.
So.
And look.
To be clear, I want to win. I just want to say I was right.
That's right. Which is
spending
also
all 200 on Tyreek.
Especially after that. I'm going to win.
Look. The other thing we're going to do, there are so many killer spots, whether that is State of Beer or Bond Brothers or Bowstring or Tap Yard. There are so many places that are now serving alternatives that one of the things I'm also going to do is make a few phone calls, send a few texts, and see if we can get some gift cards from some of these locations so we can also get some prizes. Okay. Just get people aware that on a Sunday night, on a Monday, on a Thursday, you don't necessarily have to drink alcohol to have a good time. And also, if you do, I know you're not a crossfader, but some folks will do a little mix and match.
I want to see Joe crossfaded.
That opportunity may yet present
itself.
Might
present itself. Giglio crossfaded might be a scene. Just passed out there in the back of Tap Yard for all I know.
Well, I mean,
yeah, Cali sober. Look, I have a lot of friends now that have decided that their relationship with beer, in particular, you're a little older. It's not hitting the same.
Facts.
And they've gone Cali sober, for lack of a better term. They've gone Cali sober, and they've seen the benefits of it, honestly.
It's the one weird trick doctors don't want you to know.
It's like, I'm sleeping better. I've lost weight. It's so weird, right?
Why do you look better than you have?
Oh, it could be because I've moved on from alcohol. Yeah. What a concept,
and
right?
On the fantasy tip, guys, I also want you to know, so many JoeWagon listeners last year, before we even had a league, they were texting in all year long with, hey, start sit questions, or hey, how should I think about it? I love it. I will always answer that. I will answer that in the most timely fashion imaginable, because my God, do I want people to know how fun season-long fantasy can be. By the way, I don't think that's a hot take. I think your folks know fantasy is great. Drinking weed can be great. We're going to put them together.
I like where this is going. Sounds like a good party. Last question about the JoeWagon Fantasy League. What if you finish last? Because I know the hot trend right now is the person that finishes last has some sort of bet they have to cash in.
We're gonna think about that, because I can come up with some pretty creative stuff.
If Joe finishes last,
probably more likely.
If Giglio finishes last, he has to go to Disney World.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna make this happen.
By the way, I heard if I am a especially strong supporter of the new offering, which you guys have, which I like, jokey joke aside, thrilled to see that you guys have a premium offering now. Appreciate that. There's some exclusive stuff on there. And I saw a tier on there where I could go to Disney World with you.
Yes. This is not a joke. Real. This is a real thing.
That is real.
Yeah, Wes Durham, our friend over at the ACC Network, texted me. He's like, I laughed harder about the tiers. Like, $13 a month, $143 for the year, $200 Founders Club, and $7,000, and I'll take you to Disney World. He said the reason why he just died laughing was because I know you're serious. I go, yes, we are very serious about this. Yeah, so if you give us $7,000, we will coordinate a Disney trip in the future.
Even if you have too many children.
No, it's one person.
Okay.
No, I'm not taking your family. What are you, crazy? You have to pay me $20,000 to take your entire family.
Is Disney expensive?
It's kind of expensive.
Okay.
And not only is it kind of expensive, the $20,000 really is for the patience that will have to be on display to navigate Disney World with your family. People who aren't my kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
If it's my kids, I can tell them, get your ass in line. Let's go.
Super fair.
Like, it ain't my kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I have to exude extra patience, because if you've been to Disney World, you've seen some meltdowns.
So you'll be the trip shaman of this.
Yes. You want whole family, $20,000 is going to be.
I got 4 kids, dude. You might want to bump that up.
You want me to do Lightning Lane? Yeah, that's the reason why it's going to cost $20,000. It's not Lightning Lane anymore, but you get the point. I got to coordinate that. No, that's $20,000.
All right.
That's why.
That
I'm not
out.
saying I'm going to do it for $20,000. I'm just saying the reason why it's just a person.
Sure.
Is that.
But it is real.
It is real.
Lovely.
It is a real thing.
All right. Cool.
And there's something
We're the
else.
only people who would ask for $7,000 and then spend 6,590 of it on your trip to Disney.
That's why we love our listeners.
It's actually it's probably a cheaper price.
It might be.
But by the time it's all done.
And again, look.
It's like, well, I get these motherfuckers for free.
Yeah,
but
that's just
I'm paying for a Disney trip, and I get to watch Giglio steam come out of his ears the entire time. And bonus, if he goes on a ride, he might have a heart attack and die.
He might actually. That's also real.
it's in play.
It's actually for. I always think about the neck issue. I always forget about the blood pressure issue. So my man goes on Space Mountain.
It's over.
And it's over. It
Ball
is
game.
over.
Time of death.
Giglio on Tower of Terror? No, he's
No.
legitimately becoming a ghost in the building at that point. So that would be a problem. You don't want to see that happen. Anyway, Riley, thanks for coming through. September 4th,
Yes.
we got the JoeWagon Fantasy League. 9 listeners can participate in this.
Don't finish last. Come on.
I'm in.
919-306-8598, 919-306-8598, or that handle again for you if you want. They want to hit you on the DMs.
Giglio_OG.
Big thanks to Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. With all the rain that we've had, thanks to just typical tropical stuff, the tropical depressions and everything else that have been coming through, bugs have been active. Roaches trying to get in the house. You need somebody to help you take care of that. That's where Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority can help you out. Check them out at bugsbite.com. Also,
Freaking ants, man. They're everywhere.
yeah, man, it's been brutal.
Get rid of them. Go to bugsbite.com.
Also, big thanks to the Butcher's Market. Check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. We've been talking about a lot of tailgating, right? So what you need to do is start getting your game plan ready. If you want to go all in and go get something out of the freezer, out of the meat locker, they got that for you. Any sort of cut of meat you need, they can do that for you. Or if you're like me and you got to keep it simple, signature steak tips, you can never go wrong. They got burgers, they got dogs, they have the buns that go with it. They have all that stuff there.
They do.
At the Butcher's Market. The seasoning, the different kinds of charcoal and wood that you can use to smoke. All that stuff is available.
Or you just want lunch. Go get yourself a steak sandwich. Go get yourself a French dip. They got it.
That's true too. And the other thing as well, we were talking about that cooler, right? We were talking about that cooler with Tyler. Put some 2 roosters in there while you go tailgate.
Oh, do you know what's happening in 3 days?
What is
At the
happening?
end of this week?
What?
My first secret pint of the month club.
Ooh, exciting. What is the secret pint of the month? Can you explain? Or is it,
Sir,
would it stop being a secret?
rule number 1 of the secret pint of the month club? Cannot
Can't
talk about it. But you can go to 2 Roosters and find out for yourself, because it is a flavor that's not on the actual menu.
I see.
Now, why you wouldn't want the peanut butter cookie, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But go and check it out for yourself. Person Street, or of course the OG Epicenter over off of Lake Boone.
Very cool. So go check them out. 2roosters.com. Well. Look who's in studio, Joe.
Are you trying to trick me right now?
Why? How am I tricking you?
You know I need my day of the week clock.
No, it's Wednesday.
Tyler.
It is Wednesday.
It's
Tuesday? I don't even know what day it is.
See? Tyler's throwing us off.
It's Tuesday,
totally
man.
off.
It's Tuesday, yeah.
Do you know what I really need Tyler for, though?
Yeah.
We talked to the CEO of the Hurricanes now, president of the Hurricanes. We've talked to everybody over there,
Yeah.
our friends at the Centennial Authority. They keep trying to tell us, hey, man, can you help us out?
Yeah.
Like with this parking thing and our messaging. And I'm like, of course,
Yes, sir.
I got just the solution for you. All these people crying about parking spots and
Yeah,
trying to get to their
absolutely.
tailgate. Easiest solution possible.
Yep.
Go to
absolutely.
sleek-fleet.com. Get a ride. Tyler knows everybody over there as it is. So he doesn't sit through. The cops just wave him through. The troopers just wave Tyler
Yes,
through.
sir. Absolutely.
They see the sleek fleet.
You just give them the head nod. You're good to go.
And they drop
Yeah.
me right there.
Yeah, basically.
Right at my tailgate. No muss, no fuss, no stems, no nothing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way to do
That's-
your football experience. Football season's
Absolutely,
almost here.
man.
Check him out. It's sleek-fleet.com. And you even have a bonus
Yeah.
for some people who want to choose this.
Yeah. So now until August 31st,
Okay.
we are giving away a shitty cooler.
I'm sorry. Whoa.
Why you got to talk bad about the quality of the cooler?
It's
What's
not.
wrong
It's
with the
actually
cooler?
one
Why
of
is-
the top things out there
Why
right now,
is-
trendy.
Is it? No, hold up.
I'm holding.
Is it seriously called shitty cooler?
It absolutely is. Would you like
No,
to
it's-
see it?
That's
Did-
bullshit.
I brought it with me today. I'll show you. It's awesome.
It's really called a
It
shitty
really is
cooler?
called a
Shitty
shitty
cooler.
cooler.
That's not a joke.
It's not a joke. This is really awesome. The Midnight Rider series. What's really great about these coolers is you can zip it up.
Yeah.
and it's completely waterproof. It'll hold all your stuff cold all day. It's great for summer. It's great for tailgating.
That
It's
thing
great.
waterproof?
It is 100% waterproof.
So I can just
So literally, you could take, let's just say hypothetically, there's a cup holder there.
Okay.
And you want to sit it beside the boat. You don't have to worry about anything in the boat getting wet with this. Or your friend says, "Hey, can I have a beer?" Toss the cooler to them.
Let it
Let
float right to.
while you're out there in the water. Have fun, enjoy
it's
yourself,
really
and not have to swim back to the actual boat itself.
well, sometimes how you like to say, like, I wish I would have thought of that, or you know, all these
absolutely.
ideas or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Because we have no new ideas, remember?
No.
Had I known that you could just call something a shitty cooler and people be like, let's go. I mean, I feel like I made a mistake here.
Underselling too here for our tailgate purposes. It's a backpack.
It
yeah,
is.
that's key.
So
You know?
not only a backpack, you have all the area in there for all your drinks, cooler, anything that you need, and then you got your straps. Throw it on, and you're good to go.
All right. So this is for anybody who books Sleek Fleet between now and August 31st.
Yeah. So August 31st, from now until then, you will get a free shitty cooler. I know that sounds funny, but yeah, we'll get the cooler. It, like I said, it's 100% waterproof, and we will be giving until supplies last. That's the main thing.
Until supplies
We got to
last.
make sure the supplies last.
I figured out how to use the scroll yesterday, so I'm all proud of myself. You can see it on the bottom if you're watching on the YouTube.
Mhm.
Sleek-fleet.com or 919-335-8840.
Yes, sir. And also look out for us this season. NC State, UNC will have the Sleek Fleet tailgating tent
Whoa.
out there, and we'll be giving possibly some things away.
Awesome.
Some little prizes and
Okay.
stuff like that. So great.
So real easy here. You go to Sleek dash. Let's walk this through the process for people who might not have done this before. You go to sleek-fleet.com and then you put in.
We're not doing any code.
Okay.
You can just prefer to call 919-335 if you want to book, and then mention OG,
Okay.
and then that will get you when you book your trip, if we have supplies.
While supplies
While
last
supplies
for a
last.
shitty cooler.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say shitty cooler one last time.
Yeah.
But all right. So what's shitty at times, like legitimately shitty, is getting in and out of Carter Finley Stadium. Tying it back to what Giglio said. So to be clear, when let's say we'll use Carter Finley Stadium as an example here. Is it a designated drop-off spot? Is it getting it to? I'm in the TX lot area or something like that. How does it work with Sleek Fleet?
So a lot of people like
Fairgrounds.
Doesn't exist.
I know it doesn't exist anymore.
So to be brutally honest with you, the most way we come into NC State is we'll come right in off Trinity, right there.
Yeah.
Like where the practice facility is.
Yep.
And as soon as you see the tailgate right down to the left,
Mhm.
a lot of times I can get you down in that section. I'm not telling all my secrets, but in some relevance,
Why do you
we can
think
get
Tyler
you very
and I are
close to the
friends? He gets
stadium.
me into that RV
I
lot.
absolutely
No problem.
Right
I
to the
see.
front door. He gets right there.
I see.
Friends are waiting.
No problem.
Last time I did it, the band was out playing. The team was getting ready for the field, and they
Nice.
walked right by us as we were dropping Joe off. It
That
was
sounds
awesome.
like a magical experience
It was
for you,
really
Joe.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, especially since the struggle is real and getting certain things that go with going to football games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe's
You're
got
there to
grievances.
enjoy the game, not worry about how to get there and back.
That's
and
the
if
key.
you have too many, you don't even have to worry about that.
That's
It's already
also key.
pre-planned. Just go have fun.
And you can
enjoy
save yourself some money with the shitty cooler.
Yep.
Instead of having to pay $18 a pop in the stadium.
Yeah,
There you
Pack
go.
your own.
when you come back to the sleek-fleet.com transportation, you go, see, oops, all out of beer in my shitty cooler. Time to take me home, Tyler.
Yep.
All right. Got
And
it.
we'll be there to open the door for you.
Very cool. So again, go to sleek-fleet.com, mention
sir.
us, call 919-335-8840. And this isn't just for Carter Finley, right?
It's not. This is for anything.
Okay, we're just using
This
Carter
is
Finley
not
as an
just
example.
a tailgating event. Anybody can
Got it.
call and be qualified for that.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent. Tyler, thanks for coming in, man.
You're
Thanks for I know it's not Thursday. I know it's not an OG Sleek Fleet
Breaking my brain.
live.
Yeah.
I don't even know. You threw me off. I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming through.
I did
man.
walk by your building a few times myself,
Hey,
so we're getting there, right? It's a Tuesday, so
Yeah,
we're all there.
Yeah, man. Sometimes people say you have a case on Mondays.
Yeah.
Anybody can podcast on a Monday, as Joe likes to say.
Anybody.
We're struggling on a Tuesday. Here we are.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get out of here on some Hey Joe. Let's go to the YouTube comment section from yesterday's show. From James, there's an old football saying: if you have three quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. That was in reference to North Carolina and what they got going on between Max Johnson, Connor Harrell and Jacoby Criswell. I know the News and Observer had another story on Mac Brown and his decision to go with whatever quarterback. And look, some of this is gamesmanship. They don't want Minnesota to know who they're going with. I think some of this is also related to a legitimate competition. And I was texting with somebody yesterday that was just adamant about how I'm completely wrong on Jacoby Criswell. I might be wrong on Jacoby Criswell. I just know how Mac Brown likes to talk people up. And you're probably not talking up Criswell about, well, if he had come in the spring, he'd probably be ahead of the game here. I still think they're trying to give him an opportunity. Maybe he wasn't completely up to game shape, but I still think they're going to get an opportunity. And we're going to see all three of these guys as the season starts up. Or, you know what? It's entirely possible Mac Brown's going the Larry Fedora route and it's just giving him pleasure.
Gives me pleasure.
Just gives me pleasure to talk about this. From Jacob on the OG comments, will OG live podcast or OG fans podcast content be audio only? Watching Brownlow get the crazy eyes talking about sports is worth it alone. To start, it will be audio only. We're going to try to figure out how to implement video in future episodes. There's ways to do it. Again, some of this is just kind of figuring out how all the stuff works on the fly, but we will take that into consideration. Let's see.
Aaron there. Shelby interviewed my wife and sister-in-law. Victory Day.
There you
Shout
go.
out to Shelby.
Shelby's the best. We got Timmy Ann. So glad I listened today. Great points about basketball gold and some people just being irrational haters. Yes, absolutely true. From Random Frequencies, taps the sign. The sign reads, no one gives a shit about Aaron Rodgers. Come on, man. I thought we already covered this. 5 stars. That was my point.
You sped right through it. You worked really hard at making sure you were as efficient as possible.
That was the point. Like, I think we all agree. Nobody gives a shit about Aaron Rodgers, so who's going to buy this damn book? So far, the biggest takeaway of that book is like, he regrets the whole immunization thing. I don't care, man. Get through a damn football game with the Jets for once. We'll see how that happens. Fake Jim Nance is a bad influence on the OG for expletives. Who'd have thought? Yeah.
Think of the children, Joe.
Think of the children.
Yesterday was
bad. Of course, I went back into it today when talking to Riley about what we're doing with fantasy football. All right, let's go to what do we got here on Twitter. I appreciate how the rebels of your youth are now mainstream. My version is hearing the Misfits on a commercial for whiskey. Yeah, that would be something. That would be something. What else? We got from AMH, $7,000 lifetime or $143 a year. You've got to be kidding me. You're leaving out the part where we're taking you to Disneyland. In fact,
we're losing money on that. I'm convinced.
Well, hold on a second. Dimitri's here, so let's just go ahead and do this. Hold on,
I got him. Dimitri,
how'd you do that? Here we go. Hi, Dimitri.
Hello, boys.
We're about to record an OG on business
because I'm already plugged in. Okay.
Yeah. We're about to record an OG on business.
Can I ask you a quick question about the secret pint club real quick?
Yeah.
Do we go all the way? Where was it? Rule 4 is if it's your first pint, you have to fight.
I think so.
Yeah, I thought so.
I think so.
We've been getting a lot of questions about the Disneyland thing.
Yeah.
Like somebody asked, hey, do I have to take the whole family? No.
I mean, if your whole family wants to pay $7,000 a piece,
right?
Still a bargain, I believe.
Or I'll say it this way: can you take the whole family? Yes. Joe will not be taking the whole family.
No, as I said earlier, if you want me to take the whole family, that's going to cost you $20,000.
Exactly.
And not because it's that expensive to take a family of 4 to Disney World. It has more to do with my time.
I was about to say, Joe, our time is valuable.
I'm already stressed out enough scheduling for my own family.
Yeah.
You want me to do it for somebody else's family?
Yeah. And by the way, to be fair to Joe Ovies also has a partner in OG fans, not you, Giglio. I'm talking about myself. That when he says, hey, I think there's a problem with Spotify, usually gets back the answer, hey, maybe you deal with it.
Yeah, it's true. I got that yesterday. Yeah, still workshopping that one.
But I think I figured it out. I think I could have it fixed by tonight if we don't hear from Bethany.
Okay, gotcha. Again, we're still understanding this. So yeah, $7,000. It's not you and a guest. It's you.
It's you.
It's you.
It's you. We are your guest.
Yes. We got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
Come on now. Plus, the money that we do make is not. I'm going to spend it on merch, Joe. So you're right. It's a loss leader.
Actually, here's another wrinkle to this. Do we want to take people immediately, or do we want to wait till 2026 when the new shit starts opening?
Ooh,
right?
We might have to.
See? Don't you want to ride the Cocoa ride in California Adventure? I know I do.
That'd be a good time.
Now I feel like the government. We get your money and we get to make money off of it. Then spend it in 26. I like that.
Decisions. Anyway, that's what do we have any other more Hey Joes here? Yeah, from the YouTube. This is from the Panthers. Y'all keep preaching patience with a crappy franchise. Shaking my head. Okay, Tyreek Hill is only replaceable if the quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Let's not do that. Yeah, I think you might be on a point there. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. We will see you tomorrow.